Hi, I'm Rick the Critic, and thank you for allowing me to come into your house another Tuesday. Listen, and in case you just kind of stumbled up on me, the time has changed. I'm on at 10 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock at night, so don't forget. Anyway, let me tell you the first thing that I want to talk about today are a couple of companies that I thought was just really, let me tell you. I went over to Habitat of Humanity over on Fair Oaks here in Pasadena, and I was there looking for a screen door. When I pulled up in the parking lot, you know, it's really tight in there. I mean, they've got cars parked everywhere. So I found myself thinking, Rick, you better not, just back out. I backed out and I came out of the driveway and proceeded onto the street. And then I saw this Habitat of Humanity truck. And so the guy jumps out and I said, listen, I said, I'm looking for a screen door 30 inches wide, you know, for outside, and do you think you have one? And he looks at me and he says, well, ma'am, you're gonna have to come inside. And I said, yeah, I know, I wanted to come inside, but it was kind of tight. I didn't want to hit anyone's car, so I just thought, you know, so then I looked at him and I said, listen, if I go home and call you from the telephone, will you be able to look for it? He says, oh yeah, sure. If you call me on the telephone, I can, you know, send somebody over there to look at the screen. Is that not stupid or what? If you're standing there in front of me, but now we know why he is working for Habitat and he's not the owner of Habitat. He said to me, if I call him on the telephone, he can go and look for the screen. But because I was outside, like maybe 300, 400, 500 feet away from the place, that he couldn't look for me. Okay, maybe it's just me. Is that not way too stupid or what? I thought, that is crazy. Now, let me tell you the second person that's the stupid stuff. Now we're talking about the suck wall big time. Went to LAX to pick up my daughter. And as I'm coming in, you know how crazy it is at LAX, and so I come in, I park the car, my grandson comes out, he gets in the car, and we're sitting there talking because my daughter has not come out yet. They're at baggage claim. So I'm sitting there, I can't get out, cars are moving, so I thought, well, I'll just kind of wait. So this, what do you call them, the little police guys that direct traffic in LAX? I know there's some kind of officers, but anyway, the guy says to me, listen, you're gonna have to move. And I said, okay, no problem. You know, I said, I'm waiting for my granddaughter to come out. She's come, well, you said, I said, wait a minute, there's no need to get all up in a huff. You know, I'm gonna move. Well, you're gonna have to move, ma'am. Okay, fine. So I drive out. You know, once you get out of LAX, you've got to go all the way around again. And I didn't have a problem with that, so I went all the way around again. And then when I come back, I see my kids and I see my grandchildren, and I'm like, okay. So I pull over, you're gonna have to move. So my daughter's friend looked at him and said, hey, you don't have to be that aggressive. Do you know that he actually turned around and said, what did you say to me? What did you, like he was gonna get aggressive, like he was gonna do something. And so he turned, I guess because my daughter's friend is kind of short, but he's a man. And he turned around and I think he heard that deep voice, and I think he thought, whoa. So he walks back. Anyway, that wasn't the end of it. So I look for his superior. I'm sitting there waiting for 45 minutes. And 45 minutes later, his sergeant comes over. His name is Sergeant Yates. When he comes over, he says after 45 minutes, oh yeah, so I explained the situation, and I told him, I said, listen, it's hot out here, people are traveling, you know, we don't need those, you know, we don't need anything to incite any type of violence or any type of activity, you know, and for him to get that aggressive and say, what did you say, and walk over like he was gonna do something, you know, that's some instigation. It was just too much aggression. And I said to him, I said, listen, we don't need that. I wish that you would, you know, talk to him. And so the sergeant looks at me and he says, well, you know what? I know his name is Aaron Wiley, and I really don't know him to be that aggressive. And I said, wow, really? Not to mention there were another couple of ladies standing there, and he got aggressive with them. So clearly something is going on with this guy. And in my mind, my thought was, you know what, why don't you just take him away for a few minutes, let him go in the quiet room, let him pull himself together. You know, people are coming to LAX, shooting people. It's just a lot going on, and people are going through a lot of challenges today, and we don't want to get anything cracking up in here. I really don't want to get hurt because someone else has excited this guy and he's acting really silly. So this guy looks at me and he says, well, you know what, if you let me talk to him, you know, I can talk to him. I said, well, I'd like to fill out a formal complaint, please. And so he said to me, well, you know what, if I let you do that, then if you fill it out, I cannot talk to him. And I said, excuse me? He says, I can't say anything to him if you decide to fill out a formal complaint. But let me say this to you, ma'am. If I talk to him, I could talk to him way worse than a formal complaint. Well, I guess I must really look stupid. You think it may be the weight or the glasses or, I mean, really? I mean, really? I mean, we all know that as soon as I left, he went over there and told him that there was a complaint lodged against him, and he spoke to him. He's supposed to be his superior. He's his Sergeant Yates. So anyway, I filled out a formal complaint, and also I'm going to probably send this tape in to them too because they need to see it. There is too much going on out here in the city. There's too much violence. There's too many people that are out there. They've lost their jobs. They're on drugs, domestic violence. It's a whole lot of crazy stuff going on. Can you imagine some knucklehead coming inside and this guy, you know, challenges him or comes towards him, you know, like it gets aggressive, like he's going to really do something. And the other person that has had all these other things on his mind turn around and challenge him? I mean, suppose it was a shootout. Suppose something happened in there and all us innocent bystanders are standing there because this guy is silly and this guy is even sillier. You understand what I'm saying? So now we know how stuff happens, and it gets real and it gets cracking really, really soon. So in my mind, I'm thinking, Sergeant Yates, please go over there and talk to him before he gets the wrong person. Because that's generally what happens. When we're talking about Columbine, when we're talking about those people that got shot and one guy killed, TSA officer, I think that was last year, maybe it was this year, I'm not sure. But when we're talking about incidents, most of the time, there has always been a warning. Most of the time before things really get way out of hand and way crazy, there has been a warning. And what gets my goat is that these people just shrug it off very easy. All he had to do was go over there and say, look here, you know what? I know it's not your nature for you to act like that. Is something going on with you? Let me take you away from here and let's go sit somewhere and talk. We'll put someone else in your place and let's go and sit down. And that's all it takes. Sometimes it just takes a little, come on, let's talk to you. But no, he's gonna play these games back and forth with me like I'm crazy. Well, if I go talk to him, well, now that you're writing a formal complaint, I cannot go and speak to him. Oh, well. So now there are other people that have to be subjected to his silliness and his aggression, you know, and somebody just may not, I mean, we're talking the airport. So everybody there is not all American. It's not all one. I mean, you've got all these different cultures converged in one hub. You know, some people understand and some people don't. Some people may think of that as not just aggression, but you know what I'm saying, a threat. Not aggression, because he was really aggressive. If it had been me and not another man, the other man felt like it was aggression. If he had done that to me, I would have felt like it was a threat. So in my mind, I'm thinking, how many people, because he was it just came so easy for him to say, what did you say? And walk back like he was the police. I said, wow, that's serious. So my point is this. Just be very careful. Just be very aware. Just be aware of your surroundings. You never know what idiot in the front has said something to the person in back of you or in front of you to cause that person to go off. when we're going into the airport and we're going into public facilities, even to schools or wherever we're going, we are going there for a purpose, and you got this other guy that's got another agenda because somebody ticked him off, and we become the brunt of that problem because we just happen to be at the right place at the wrong time. So what my thing is with you guys today is just be careful of your surroundings. When you hear things escalate, when you hear voices go up and get past base, you know what I'm saying? Just be very careful. Just look around and start to ease out of the way, because we do not know what we're coming in the midst of. We do not know if we're coming in the midst of something that has started early in the morning and has escalated, or something that's escalating right then and there. So that's my point. But anyway, so that was the good thing. Today, I got a chance to go over to a place, not today, but yesterday, a place called Chandelier Inn. And oh my, it was a quaint little place in Paris, California, and it had all these little chandeliers. It's a cute little place. You go in, the gardens are just cute. It's like on a couple of acres, and on the side there are all these cute little waterfalls, and it's just very serene and very peaceful. And then the lady there, her name is Miss Louise, just a charming lady. And the manager of the place there came out. His name was Gar, and he came out and showed me around. And I went to look at it to use it, maybe think about it as a retreat. And so it would be lovely for a retreat. There's about 5 bedrooms there, and each bedroom has a theme. And the place has this lovely French provincial furniture, and it's just a cute little place. Just charming, just really cute. So it's called the Chandelier Inn. It's in Paris, California, and I'm sure they have a website. I just don't have it right here, but if you give me a call or send me a letter or something, I'll make sure that you get that information. Tara Lynn Fennessy is the proprietor, and she is a person that, she doesn't handle everything, but she certainly, if you talk to her, she gets right back with you. And if you're thinking about a retreat in Paris, whether it be Christian or whether it be secular or whatever, it's a cute little place. Like I said, the waterfalls, I was there in the daytime, and I just saw, it was just a wonderful breeze, and it was just really quaint. That's in Paris, California, Chandelier Inn. Think about it. Huh. Now then, the next thing I want to talk about is food. Oh my goodness. We just had a lovely day. My daughter and I went out to Norwalk. We had to, but you know what? Before I talk about Norwalk, we're going to be coming up on a station break in a few seconds, so I don't want to get into that, but I do want you to go and get whatever it is that you need to get, you know, whether it be popcorn, whether when you're talking to me, it's always a movie and a show, right? So get whatever you need, your pencil, your paper to write down information or whatever. Go and get those things, and then we're going to be right back in a couple of minutes, and I'm going to tell you what else is going on, okay?
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours.
Dr. King, what's your next move?
In March from Selma to Montgomery.
Selma is loud for every man, woman, and child.
We will not wait any longer.
In front of a crowd.
Thine eyes have seen the glory, hallelujah.
Hi, I'm glad you're back. Listen, before you left, or before we took the station break, I was about to tell you about Norwalk. I went out to Norwalk, my daughter and I, to get her birth certificate, because she's lost it a couple of times. Anyway, we went out there. They've got this new machine out there, or computer, that you just go and you type in all this information, and it gives you a slip of paper, and then you walk up to the clerk, you hand them the paper, and they have your form for you right there. I mean, everything is just so convenient. And I thought that was really nice. Then the second place I had to go to was the DMV. All right, I don't know if all DMVs have it, but the DMV in Inglewood, they have a machine there. If you need your tags, if you want to get your registration, and you've got your smog now, you have to have your smog already. But you can input the information into the machine, put your money in there, and it will give you your tag and your new registration. Isn't that neat? I just thought it was neat. Anyway, so that was that. But while we were in Norwalk, we were hungry. And you know, Rick, you know I love to eat. All of this is all of me. Anyway, so we went over to IHOP. My daughter says, I want pancakes. And I thought, oh, God, IHOP, House of Pancakes. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been in there. And I think the last time I was in there, the service was kind of iffy. Anyway, we're in Norwalk. Big surprise. In Norwalk, had a great server. They call them waiters? Server, had a great server. The food was great. The guy was so personable. He didn't keep coming back to the table all the time, but he was very attentive and he could look over at us and see before we even asked for anything. It was like, here's your extra this, here's that. I mean, the guy was great. And so as usual, before I left, I called the manager over and I said, listen, I do want to say to you, could you call the server over here? And the server's looking and he's all, because you know, people always tell when it's bad stuff. You know, when they don't do good things and they just, you know, make a botch up things, they always talk about it. But you very rarely does anyone say to them, you know, what a good job they've done. So my daughter and I, we just praised this guy. I mean, the guy was just really, really great. I just wanted to tell him, listen, let me take you someplace where you can teach some servers how to serve, because I'm telling you, the service was great. The food was great, the service was great, and IHOP in Norwalk, I tip my hat off to you, because I'm telling you, out of all the International House of Pancakes that I've been to, you know, just driving and going in and out of the city and that kind of thing, Norwalk is the only one that I've ever seen that was just service was just great. I just can't say enough about it. And it's an IHOP, okay? Then that's like a Denny's. So anyway, I was really pleased with the service. Now, after that, we traveled on and we were going, let's see, where did we, later on that day, we ate over at Orleans in York. They've got the greatest soup ever over there. I mean, the food it's always good. The food is always good at Orleans in York. There was a guy in there at the other store, an athlete, that was very pleased with the food, and he bought 100 sandwiches and passed them out. He did some kind of something over the radio, and that was that. And it was a good time had by all. It was a really good time. But let me tell you something. We had a good time. I picked up my daughter. Oh, let me finish telling you about the trip. I picked up my daughter from Houston. We went back. I asked her how everything was in Houston, and she said to me that it was godly hot. It was humid. It was just all these, just terrible. The weather was terrible. So that's about Houston. So we talked about Houston. Now let me tell you about what was happening here in San Bernardino. I have, and this is just Rick talking, you just hear me out. When you say San Bernardino, it's almost like you saying Detroit. When you say Detroit to some people, it's like, oh my God, I would never move to Detroit. It's the most horrible place in the world. I know people that live in Detroit that do not want to go back to Detroit. And it's just me. Anyway, same thing about San Bernardino. When you talk about San Bernardino to people, they just begin to grab their heart, it's like, oh, it's the most ungodly place in the world. Did you know that San Bernardino had an international airport there that it's built, it's finished, but they didn't have the money to actually put it in operation? Can you believe that? An international airport. So let me tell you what that tells me. That at some point in the next few years, that people from all over the world will not just go to LAX, they will be coming to San Bernardino and to their international airport. Do you know what that means? That also means that even though the city was bankrupt and they've gone bankrupt, that means that there's going to be, after it goes all the way down to the ground, it's going to come back up. They don't build airports in places, international airports, for no reason at all. So somebody's going to pour some money back into San Bernardino. I looked at some plans. They're going to put a lake through there. It's going to be lovely. So this is my tip for today. If you have any dollars, just a couple of dollars or whatever, get in the car, drive to San Bernardino. Even if you buy a piece of land, even if you buy a little condo, if you buy a little shack or something, real estate should be really, really easy to negotiate there because they're bankrupt. And not only are they bankrupt, it's godly hot there too. So it's a dirty little town, but let me tell you something. I've seen dirty little towns before. In fact, I believe when I moved to Pasadena in the 70s, Pasadena was a dirty little town. Not so much as dirty, but when you came downtown, they had all these buildings that were boarded up and all these buildings that looked like they should be condemned, and it just looked just like a little ghost town. Now look at Pasadena now. If only we had the forethought to invest in Pasadena, just think what would have happened. I remember looking at a little shabby building on Colorado that was all boarded up, and I kept thinking, I wonder what they want for that building. I wonder what they, I never took it any further. When I came to Pasadena in the 70s, do you know houses were like $18,000, $18,000, $16,000? I think you could find a decent 3-bedroom, 2-bath home on east of Pasadena, on the east part of Pasadena, for like 50 grand. Can you believe that? And now, just think, the first little house that I bought here when I first came here in '75 only cost me $16,000. That same house went for $132,000, and then that same house 3 or 4 years later, at the height of real estate, went for almost $600,000. That's insane. That's crazy. You can't even find a 2-bedroom house in Pasadena for less than $399, $499. That's 2 bedrooms. So I am telling you all of this because if you missed out on it the first time, sometimes we get a second chance. Check out San Bernardino. This is Rick's tip. Check out San Bernardino. We don't have to go all the way to Victorville. You don't have to go all the way up to Hesperia and Apple Valley and all that. You don't have to go way up that hill. That's an ungodly hill, and it's one way in and one way out. Well, no, you can get out some other ways, but it's the 14 free, not the 14. What is the name of that freeway? It's the 15 freeway going to Las Vegas. It's horrible. It's just horrible. If it snows, if there's an accident, you're just stuck right there on the 15. So you don't have to go that far. You can go right in San Bernardino, and you can go into San Bernardino, find you a nice little place. Downtown areas, they have a lot of incentives. So put your thinking cap on and catch it before the height of the real estate. Yes, I know. My children tell me, San Bernardino, you got to be kidding me. But listen, guys, let's not miss it again. Let's do a little something. I think Loma Linda is going to put a lot of money into San Bernardino because it's right there, right on the end of it. And I love Loma Linda. It's a wonderful little town, 7-day Adventist. No mail on Saturdays, mail on Sundays. It's just great. San Bernardino is my tip for today. And this is Rick's tip. Check out San Bernardino. Go take a drive. If you go above 40th, you know, I know when you look at San Bernardino, you see a lot of poverty, but if you go above 40th, there's some nice places up there. They overlook the city, nice yards, nice little houses on the hills. There's just some pockets in San Bernardino that are really, really nice. They off of Valencia. There's some nice places there above Highland. If you go between Highland and go up 40th and up there, you can find some nice little places. Look up there, take a look around, and even if you're adventurous, even get down around by the Air Force Base, even around the Air Force Base where there's some little isolated places there, little desolate places. Look even in that area because you might be able to get in on the ground floor and buy something for a little bit of money and sit on it because when it booms, it's going to boom. Think about Pasadena. When I moved here, I remember someone telling me, Pasadena, where is that? Can you imagine? Now Pasadena's on the map. Everyone knows where Pasadena. When you say Pasadena, the first thing they say is Rose Parade, Rose Bowl. It's all over. And I don't know if you know, but last week they had a Beyonce and Jay-Z concert at the Rose Bowl. And someone else was there. I think it was Rihanna. I think it was Rihanna, Jay-Z, Beyonce, and someone else. I don't really know. I'm not a Beyonce fan. I'm not a Jay-Z fan. I'm not a Rihanna fan. But I can ask my grandchildren. They would tell me. But anyway, that was at the Rose Bowl. So let me say this to you. And then I saw yesterday at the Forum where they had MTV. They were going to do some things over there with MTV at the Forum. So there are things happening here, but it's got to spread out. And when it spreads out, San Bernardino is the largest county in the United States. With it being the largest county in the United States, there are going to be some things that are going to come to San Bernardino that won't go anywhere else. Save your money, save your pennies, go out, look around, invest some dollars. We have got to secure a legacy for our children and our grandchildren. And not only that, it's nice to own a little piece of something. Our younger people don't want to own anything. I notice my kids are like, we'll buy something, maybe, maybe not. But there are a lot of things out there. Let's do. Remember your grandmother when she told you about buying, going to school, working hard, buying a house, that kind of thing? You don't necessarily have to live in San Bernardino. You could buy something out there and you can rent it out, you can rehab it, you can do a lot of things. People need places to live, always need a place to live. Anyway, that is Rick's tip for today, San Bernardino. We talked about LAX. We talked about Habitat for Humanity. We talked about a lot of things. We covered a lot of ground. But I want you, if out of everything that I talked about, remember San Bernardino. Keep that in your hat and think about San Bernardino. Listen, I have surely enjoyed talking to you today. And as usual, time is winding down and I must go. But know this. You are always in my heart, and I enjoy talking to you on television, and I enjoy your questions. I love your energy. Keep sending your information to me, and I will not forget. Take care, talk with you later, and thanks for tuning in. Bye.